Okay, for lesson 110, I'm going to use the book because they have these really good drawings here that I can't duplicate as nicely as they did it. So I'm just going to go over these with you. So first of all, we're talking about functions. And if you recall, a while back, we talked about the 4 different kinds of functions and how they each have a shape. And so we have the quadratic, the cubic, the square root, and the absolute value ones. And so a quadratic has the swoop, the cubed has this little arrow, like the go this way then that way, and then the cubed has the shooting off that direction, and then if it's absolute value it makes a V. Now if you'll look, the way you can remember it is quadratic, it always has the number x squared, and then cubed, it's got it cubed, and then square root, it's got a radical sign, and then the absolute value one, it's got an absolute value. So right there. Now what they're going to do is so they're using, if you notice on each of these, it's on the origin, the 0, the 0, 0, the 0, 0, and the 0, 0. So this is not about solving mathematically, it's about learning how to recognize. And so just picture in your head what happened here. So they added 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1 to each of these. And what that did was that shifted it off on the y-axis. They shifted it from the 0, 0 up 1, shifted it up 1, shifted it up 1, shifted it up 1 when they added 1 to it. You will refer back to this page, page 462, to help you with this. Sorry if I'm jiggling this and making you sick to your stomach. Anyway, so for each of those, that's all you have to do is go back to your examples and look here. So, and then they call things a new function. Up here they use a lowercase f, a lowercase g, a lowercase h. They use capital. That means new function when they use a capital letter. Now, also they'll do a minus 1. That means they go below. They go shift everything down 1, okay? This is easy to remember. Just let these clues indicate it. Then what they're going to do is they're going to go horizontally. So over here on this page, horizontal shifts. So if they do a minus 1, over here was plus 1, and then down here it was minus 1, but on here it's minus 1 and squared, minus 1 cubed, minus 1 square rooted, minus 1 and absolute value, okay? So whereas down here when they did the minus 1, it wasn't the whole equation, it was just they just added a minus 1. This is all, the whole unit is squared, the whole unit is cubed, the whole section right here, the x minus 3, that's all square rooted. That's the difference between this and that, if you can see. So with these, this is a horizontal shift to the right one for each of those. Then they do it the opposite way where they they invert the sign. It makes it go the other way. So you just need to remember, these are clues, and you're going to remember each of these. And so let me turn the page and we will move on to the last part. Then they have reflection. Where it was pointing up, they did the mirror image. It's a reflection. And the way you know is because there is a negative in front of each of these. That means it flipped it below the x, facing downward, going the opposite way. And then lastly, over here, a combination of the two. So it not only was shifted up 3, but it's also inverted. So they added a 3, which made it go up the y at 3 spots, but because there's a negative in front of the x, it's also inverted. So this is nothing to do mathematically, it's learning how to recognize what type of function it is. And so for your homework, here's 1 plus 3. Here's 1 plus 3 squared. That's different. That was on the horizontal shift. This is a negative in front of it. That would be inverted. So does that make sense? I hope so. Your book is very good at explaining this. And then the last one, it's going to be, they're going to give you, they want you to say which one of these statements is true. And so I'm not going to tell you. But you can do this. This is not hard. Just learn how to recognize.